What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, the other day, I forgot to talk about this, but the other day, the Oklahoma City Thunder defeated the Houston Rockets by a score of 117 to 114, and they tied up the series, right? Let me just say this. The NBA bubble has produced some of the most exciting basketball that I've watched in a while. And I said this in a video before, but really with this bubble, I mean the playoff format too, we're really getting the time to, because games are starting early and midday. So we're really getting the time to watch some of the league's premier talent. Some of these young guys that we normally don't see often. Guys like Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell out here getting to it and leading their teams to victories. Going back and forth, putting up 40 and 50. It's been phenomenal to watch. But Chris Paul, like watching the Oklahoma City Thunder, Chris Paul deserves all the praise in the world. And you got to give him a big round of applause for the job that he's been doing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, this is one hell of a story. This team was picked to finish last, right? And they not only got to the playoffs in the Western Conference, might I add, but they evened up the series against a team that many people picked, or some people picked, that they thought Houston was going to sweep them. They really thought Houston was going to sweep them. Some people did, right? Now, some people watched Oklahoma City Thunder and felt like they were a formidable opponent. But you feel like on paper, you can look at these teams and say, okay, Houston has more firepower than the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? And they have more star power. Russell Westbrook is missing, but yet still a lot of people still felt like Houston had what it takes to get them up out of there, right? But I'm watching this team, and for all the flack that Chris Paul gets, in the past, because we've heard teammates come out and say he's kind of hard to play with, he kind of does too much. They really don't like his style of leadership at times, but he's able to lead these young guys for real to a promising place. And we've seen that all season, right? And I asked my uncle this. I said, man, why the older guys, the other players, they always say they have a hard time playing with him. Guys on the Clippers were talking about how Kenyon Martin and them came out and said that he can be a little too much. But these young boys, they seem to love playing with Chris. And my uncle explained it perfectly. He said that, the young boys don't look at Chris as one of their peers. They look up to him. They grew up going to his summer camps and stuff like that. So they really respect him a lot more probably than a guy that is in his age range or whatever. They're going to look at him like, man, who the hell is you? How are you going to say this, that, and the third? And they're going to have a lot of pushback. The young guys, they look at him and they're willing to accept his leadership because they're younger than him, and they understand and know that he's been around the block and he's been around for a long time, and he knows how to lead a team to far places. And he's showing that, right? And look, I believe that the Houston Rockets will win this series. I'm going to just come out and say it. I believe that Houston will win this series, but the Oklahoma City Thunder are not going out without a fight. And I love this type of basketball, y'all. Like OKC, I'm going to be real. I'm picking Houston, but OKC got all the momentum right now. Like, they have all the momentum in their favor, and the leadership that Chris Paul is displaying is beautiful. I'm going to say this too. You gotta give him a lot of credit, because there are a lot of guards in the league that are great guards, but there aren't a lot of guards that I can see making OKC what they are. Like, I don't see a lot of guards in the league doing what Chris Paul did with Oklahoma City Thunder. I really don't, and it's a lot of dynamic guards. One guard I'm thinking of in particular that I love watching. I love watching him more than I love watching Chris Paul at times, because he's just so dynamic and he's just such a weapon and he's just such an offensive force. But if you replace Chris Paul with Kyrie Irving, this team is not making the playoffs. They're just not. They're not making the playoffs, and he's not leading them to a big push. I just don't see it, even though I feel like Chris is a more dynamic guard and I love watching him play more than Chris Paul, especially, it's really because I love watching Chris play because it's beautiful basketball. It's beautiful point guard play. But we all know Kyrie Irving is Rucker Park on the court. But, I don't see Kyrie doing what Chris Paul is doing, right? You know what? It's so interesting watching that game, too. Because as much as I'm giving a ton of credit to OKC and Chris Paul as they deserve it, the Houston Rockets really live and die by the three. And that's their problem, right? I don't really trust a Mike D'Antoni-led team in the playoffs, and it's because of these reasons like this. Because they live and die by the three too damn much, right? I remember a game, the game 7 against the Golden State Warriors a couple of years ago, where they missed the Houston Rockets. I'm talking about. They missed 27 straight threes, and to me, that's crazy because the definition of insanity is just keep doing the same thing over and over again and keep expecting different results. Right? They were expecting different results. They just keep firing up threes, and a lot of them threes wasn't even good looks. They were just jacking up threes. Difficult shots, just jacking up all type of difficult shots, expecting it to go in, right? Last night, like they shot what 58. I mean, not last night, the night before that, they shot 58 threes, almost 60 threes. And to myself, I'm thinking, when will they learn that shooting 53s in a game is not a formula for success? Especially like, listen, my boy Eric, and I love Eric Gordon, I love EG, man. My boy Eric Gordon pulling up from 35 feet like he's Steph. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Eric Gordon can knock down threes. He absolutely can, right? He can. We know he can knock down. We know he can get hot. The problem is, Eric Gordon can get very, very cold as well at times. You know, he can go cold. He can get streaky. And that's the problem. He putting up for 35, and you know, you not as lethal as Steph with that. Like, come on, don't do that. Don't be like just putting yourself in a hole, just shooting yourself in the foot, just jacking up shot after shot from three. Like, bro, relax, brother. Relax. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be real, too. I think that Houston would have a better shot at winning the games that they lost if Russell Westbrook was there. Not just because of scoring, but because his penetration ability, I'm talking about Russell Westbrook, his penetration ability gives the Rockets more open looks from three. Right? Because they got to close in and hone in on Russ when he's attacking the lane. Y'all know how he do. He go to the lane like a bulldozer. He go to the line like a running back. Full head of steam. Guys are open from three, and they can get open shots and possibly knock those shots down as they are better shots than just isolation plays, dribbling to the top to keep jacking up three after three. It would be better shots for them, right? But I'm gonna be real. I knew it was gonna be a long night for the Houston Rockets when I saw not only that Chris Paul was getting off and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was getting off, but when Dennis Schroeder was coming off the bench and cooking them boys like a hibachi grill, getting them boys hot and ready like a Little Caesar's pizza. Like I'm talking about, like he was letting them boys. He was balling. He was balling, right? When I'm watching how he playing, I'm like, oh man, fool. It's gonna be a tough night for Houston. Dennis Schroeder came off the bench for 30 last night. I mean, I keep saying last night. Lord, the night before that. He came off the bench for 30 and exploded for 30. And I really, really like Dennis Schroeder's game, man. I used to critique him a lot when he first got into the league because I just hate that dang on patch in his head, that Wiz Khalifa patch there. I'm like, bro, oh my God. But no, like, but he's a really good basketball player, man. And he's hard-nosed, he's tough, he's athletic, he's quick. You know, he's a very, very solid player, man. When he was in Atlanta, he had some great moments. Now he's coming off of the bench and he's giving firepower to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But again, when Chris Paul and another one of the starters get off, that's one thing. When Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench and lighting you up for 30, I know it's a done deal, brother. I know it's a done deal. They play tonight, and they play today. Rather, they play today, and you know what? As much as I'm praising the Oklahoma City Thunder because it's just a masterful job that they're doing. I really, really love what Chris Paul is doing with them boys, man. I'm gonna go this game 5. I believe that the Houston Rockets will win game 5. I really do. I believe Houston Rockets will win game 5. I think that Oklahoma City will come and win game 6. I think it's gonna go 7 games. I really do. I think shockingly it's gonna go 7 games. But I believe that the Houston Rockets will edge them out. You know what I mean? If Russell Westbrook got to play and you feel like it's too crazy, he going to come and play. If they go up, if they win this game tonight, I believe Russell Westbrook going to try to play the next game. Seriously. But if they win this game, I think Russ going to chill. They lose on game 6, I think it's going to go game 7. But I believe that Russ probably might play that game 7. And I think even if Russ don't play, I still think Houston will win that game 7 for real. I really do. But nonetheless, man, you got to tip your hat to Chris Paul and the job that he's doing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's been great to watch this basketball, man. Machiavelli Mills TV. Peace.